Welcome to the grand opening of Glendale City Lights, which is a new 68-unit affordable family housing project that was constructed by Advanced Development and Investment, ADI, along with their partners and the City of Glendale Housing Authority. My name is Rodney Kahn, and I work with ADI on many of their projects. This is a very unique project. It's a very different project where it incorporates a historic diner into the facade of the building, which is very different and very unique, the Algemac Diner. It's also an excellent location for families. Directly across the street from us, we have Cerritos Park, Cerritos Elementary School. We're a stone's throw away from the Glendale Transportation Center, along with many shops and restaurants along both San Fernando Road and Brand Boulevard. We had a very long day yesterday, and now we are here this morning, and I was trying to decide whether to tell you a short story or give you a quotation. So I opted for the quote because I think it will actually, hopefully, inspire us. It did inspire me when I read it, and it was sent to me. This is by Edwin Markham, who is a 19th century American poet, educator. And he wrote that no one is so rich that he does not need another's help. No one so poor as to not be useful in some way to his fellow man. There is a destiny that makes us brothers. No one goes his way alone. All that we send into the lives of others will someday come back into our own. That's the end of the reading. What I'd like to do now is introduce our Master of Ceremonies, the Mayor of our city, Ara Najarian.
Thank you, Rodney, and good morning, everyone. What a beautiful day it is for such a special occasion. I really should say for two special occasions, because if you missed it just a few moments ago, the City Council and the Housing Authority and everyone involved with the project next door posed for a few photos, and that is the Vassar City Lights. And of course, we're here in this wonderful courtyard with the fountains bubbling behind us. Or is that Mr. Draymond bubbling? No. Underneath the wonderful palm trees and the drought-tolerant plants, the crisp, fresh paint that we have all around us, and most importantly, the smiles that we see on the residents, some of whom are here today and are proudly opening their doors for us to take a look at their new homes. The homes where they'll be raising their children and coming home after a hard days of work, cooking their meals, going out, doing the things that every family in Glendale deserves to do, and that's to live their lives in comfort in a clean and decent environment. This project, as well as the Vassar City Lights, certainly fits those needs. We're very committed towards affordable housing in Glendale. As a former Housing Authority Chair and currently the Mayor, I can assure you that each and every one of my colleagues on the City Council is as equally dedicated towards bringing a quality of life to the residents than I am and the folks at ADI. And I'd like to introduce my colleagues who play such an important role in advancing these projects. There's a lot of work that goes behind these projects. If you're from the ADI side, you're going to say, oh, sure, we know all about it. Kay, the project manager, knows his challenges. The people in finance, who we'll bring up later, know their challenges. But there's also political challenges as well. And my colleagues are ready to stand together, side by side, advancing the needs for our residents. And I'd like to first introduce my colleague, John Draymond. Next to him is Councilmember Laura Friedman. Councilman Dave Weaver is not in attendance unless he's getting a bird's eye view of the festivities. And then someone I'll invite later to speak is the current chair of the Housing Authority, Frank Quintero. So it's a partnership. It's clear. It's a partnership blending political will, construction savvy, design techniques, financing, all those tax credits and all those TCAC deadlines that have to be met. And the end result is what we have here today. So without further ado, I'm happy to introduce the next group of speakers who can give you a little bit more detail and have their own unique perspective on what it takes to bring affordable housing to a community. And we're so glad that they chose Glendale. I'd like to invite the man who's the front of the organization from Advanced Development and Investment, Mr. Ajit Mitaiwala.
Thank you, Ara. Thank you, Councilman and the friends. There are moments in life that joy it brings cannot be measured. This is one of those days. This project is so abnormal, it should never happen, but it happened. Anybody who was involved with purchasing of this parcel of land knows that it took us years. We had to travel all the way to Vegas to settle some scores and buy this property. And when we bought this property, and I'm giving you this so that you realize what we, when I say we, collectively we the developer, we the city, we the builders, the financiers, they are here, especially PNC Bank, represented by Richard Shea. We all go through a lot of hoops, not even knowing the project will take place, and we spend as much as about a year struggling to try to put the project together. So it's a miracle. Every time this happens like this, it's a miracle, and I think all the colleagues who are working with me, they all appreciate this thing, and I think this is important every time we do finish a project to make sure that we realize what we accomplished. We have accomplished a miracle for, especially in this environment where there will be 68 plus 72, add them up, 140 families. Because this is affordable housing, there will be large families. So at least 4 in the house. So 4 times 100 and, 40? 560 people will live here where they had no home before, or they had a very poor home. It's not a small thing. I want all of you to take a moment and think how wonderful job each and every one of you have done. Be proud of yourself. This is not just doing a development. It is not doing just construction. You're giving a new life to 240 families. So that's just a starting. I always get, when I come, I get very soft and very touched and emotional, but that is my nature. I can't help it. I see it, I feel it.
Thank you, Ajit. And now I'd like to invite up to the podium Mr. Harsh Mehta, also from ADI.
Thank you. Well, good morning still. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for joining in our celebrations today. Thank you, Ajit, for a wonderful speech. My name is Harsh Mehta. I'm Senior Vice President of ADI. I just want to say that Glendale City Lights is ADI's 52nd affordable housing development. And like Mayor Najarian pointed out, Glendale City is a classic example of public and private team efforts. The financing for this project is very difficult and complex. And finally, ADI is extremely happy to introduce our newest member and my colleague, Senior Vice President Nkechi Odu. Although she is a recent addition to our team, Nkechi has worked on 25 ADI projects in the past in the capacity of an attorney for the Outside Lenders Council. She has over 9 years of affordable housing experience and real estate experience. And we are honored to have her with us. Welcome, Nkechi. Welcome to ADI. She's going to say a few.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you've had an opportunity to take a look at this remarkable project, because if you have, you'll see that it was truly designed with family and community in mind. The project has 63 bedroom units, 8 two-bedroom units, an over 2,000 square foot community room, an over 1,600 square foot recreational facility. There are computer rooms made available to our tenants, an on-site laundry facility. There will also be educational classes, English as a second language, adult education, after-school programs. And it's hard to believe that our tenants pay rents anywhere between $459 and $1,094 per month for all of this. And of course, this is probably the only affordable housing project that has its own coffee shop. However, we all know that a coffee shop is more than just a building. It's more than just a blue plate special or your favorite piece of apple pie. It's truly about community. It's about a place where we can gather and come together to relax or to celebrate. And it is only fitting that this building, as integrated into our project, continues to be a place where community can gather. And today is no different, and we would very much like to invite you after the ribbon cutting ceremony to invite us for lunch in our community room so we can continue the tradition of celebration. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, it takes several years for these projects to come to fruition. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the genesis of this project began perhaps 2-3 years ago when John Draymond was the mayor. John kindled the spark of interest amongst the council and passed it on to Frank Quintero. And Frank Quintero has recently stepped down as mayor. Currently now, he is the chairman of the Glendale Housing Authority, and I'd like to invite Frank Quintero up to the podium.
Let me talk just quickly about where we are, this neighborhood, so to speak. As I mentioned, we're in a redevelopment zone, which is a California designation. We have two. We have the Brand Boulevard redevelopment zone. Then we also have the San Fernando Road corridor, which basically stretches from the LA City line, a thin ribbon, all the way up to the city of Burbank. So it's a huge redevelopment zone. Some of the highlights or some of the well-known companies are Disney, DreamWorks, so we have this sort of entertainment end. And then we have the bread and butter of this zone, and it's been that way since probably Glendale first started. That's a sort of manufacturing, the industrial, the service businesses that line this corridor. And those are the very companies that many of the people that live here will be able to work in. Bread and butter, blue-collar, good-paying jobs. So this is the proper location for this housing unit and the one that we're building next door. However, we're moving into creating what we call a creative corridor, where we will actively look for companies that do something other than bend metal, et cetera, et cetera. And so my hope is that the children and teenagers that are growing up here, they'll be able to be employed in this same corridor. So this is a broad attempt by the city of Glendale to do a number of things. It's more than just an individual housing unit put in a particular location. It's part of an overall strategic plan. It includes a transportation center. Less than a half mile away, you have to cross a busy street, but less than a half mile away is our transportation center, where we have the MTA, Amtrak, the buses, the MTA buses, the Glendale City buses. And so someone working here, once again, if they don't live in Glendale, will be able to commute to just about anywhere in Southern California. So this is not only a tremendous project done by some tremendous people, but it fits into the overall strategic plan for the city of Glendale. So I just want to congratulate everyone. I'm particularly happy. I'm a preservationist, along with lots of others, including Laura Friedman. We have a lot of buildings in this city that are worth preserving. And by preserving, I mean that you have to change. Obviously, a coffee shop no longer worked on this corridor, but you have to readapt and use the building for different uses. And there's a number of companies that have done it. They've been very, very successful. So this is a happy day for all of us, and congratulations for everyone.
And we also are graced with a representative from State Senator Carol Liu's office. And here today to say a few words is Ms. Talene Mangiolu.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My job is a very simple one this morning. On behalf of State Senator Carol Liu, I'd like to congratulate the Glendale Housing Authority and Advanced Development and Investment, Inc. I have 2 certificates of acknowledgement.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to invite from PNC Multifamily Capital, the Vice President, Richard Shea.
Thank you and good morning, everybody. 2 things I want to do today. First, I want to acknowledge what an incredible accomplishment this project and the project next door is. I don't know if many of you saw this site when it was just dirt and the coffee shop and a parking lot. But if you kind of think about the logistics around this site, it is surrounded. There is not a lot of ingress and egress here. It's a very challenging area, traffic going back and forth. This was probably one of the most challenging construction jobs that I've observed in my years of doing affordable housing. And I got to tell you, one of the few companies that could pull it off is ADI, and I think they did a phenomenal job here, Kay, on the construction, the logistics, and getting this thing done on time, on budget. Phenomenal job, guys. Congratulations. I want to thank you guys for that. And of course, on the financing side, it was a challenge as well. Just bringing all the pieces together. Of course, Vassar came on board when we were in the midst of our complete financial meltdown, trying to bring investors together, bankers together, and everything else to keep this project moving forward was an incredible challenge. And again, ADI, who I have to say is one of, if not the premier developers in the country in affordable housing, did a phenomenal job in getting these projects together, along, of course, with the great city of Glendale and the things they did to work together to get this here. This isn't easy, guys. This is very difficult and a very difficult time. You've got something that is very, very much to be proud of, and I want to congratulate everybody on that effort.
I would like to invite from the California Community Reinvestment Corporation, Mr. Mark Niles.
On the way, as we were driving down here this morning, we were talking about career choices for, some of our siblings, and the conclusion was it really doesn't matter what they decide to do as long as they're passionate about it. One of the reasons I like to come to the grand openings is I like to hear Ajit's speeches. And sometimes they're short and sometimes they're long, but the one thing that really comes out is he is really passionate, not about just building the bricks and mortar, but providing homes to his residents. And certainly over the 10-plus years that we've been involved, and we've seen, how that passion has grown, has developed in providing just a robust array of services for the tenants, and really capitalized in, one of the things that we ask our developers to do is to take a picture of the project so that we can put it up on the wall in our office, and, there's hundreds of them now. But ADI had the idea that for the picture of the project, they weren't going to take a picture of the bricks and mortar, but what they did was they got their residents to stand in front of a banner that said, "Thank you, CCRC, for helping us, have our home." And that really, I think, is why Ajit does this. And kind of on the back end and looking at the, going through the conversion and hearing the stories about all the challenges that go on during the construction period, you really got to have a passion for it. Otherwise, man, it's just a lot of brain damage. Anyways, on behalf of CCRC, and our offices are right down the road here in Glendale, so this is our backyard. There's no doubt that Metropolitan and Metro Loma and this and Vassar, when it's built, have certainly transformed this area. It is nice to see, and we are very proud to be a part of this project and the others. Thank you very much.
Okay, time for another audible. Too often we refer to the residents that are going to live here as the families or the tenants, sort of refer to them in the abstract. They're oftentimes nameless and faceless individuals, and it's hard for us to really make the connection between the people and the homes. And today we're going to change that. I'd like to invite Ms. Seda Casillas to the microphone, and she is currently one of the fortunate members who is a resident of this wonderful facility.
Congratulations.
Hello, my name is Sara Casillas. My family and I are tenants here at Glendale City Lights. Since the day construction began, we hope to one day be able to live in this wonderful development. It was such an amazing experience to be one of the It was such an amazing experience to be one of the chosen families and go through the process knowing my dreams of giving my family a better life was so close in hand. Now that the day has come that we are here and a part of this well-knit community here at Glendale City Lights, I would graciously like to thank each and every one of you who had a part of this incredible opportunity to give us as a family a life-changing experience. We are truly blessed and love it here. It has brought so much joy and excitement in our children's lives to be able to have their own rooms and space. It really is a new beginning of many memories that we will make as a family here at Glendale City Lights. Once again, I would like to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you. Gracias. Merci.
I also want to make sure that I specifically thank and identify the Design Review Board of the City of Glendale that reviewed this project, the Historic Preservation Commission that played a major role, and the Glendale Historical Society. Because the Glendale Historical Society from day one was involved in this project. And I remember speaking to one of the council members when we were first out at this site, when the Aljamak restaurant sat on this site, and said to them, I've been contacted by the Glendale Historical Society about wanting to maintain a portion of the restaurant. And at that time, I did not have the vision that I do today in wanting to keep that restaurant. And I won't name names as to who on the city council, but I said, Mr. Councilman, what do you think I should do about this? And his response to me was, well, man, you're going to need to talk to these people, and you're going to need to listen to them, and you're going to need to hear what they have to say. And before I had an opportunity to respond, he said, and that's all I have to say about it, and he got in his car and he drove off. So I got very clear direction as to we needed to maintain the historic Aljamak restaurant. Anyway, I want to conclude my remarks. I want to thank everyone that was here today. I think we're all going to adjourn and do the ribbon cutting, and then...